Captain Hut! Welcome to Sculpture Studios. I would say we're creating some larger than life figures today, but we're blowing up some toy soldiers to actual life size. The army men that you might find scattered across various bedroom floors, or just the odd bloke sucked up in a hoover, we're going to be carving from polystyrene. Made more popular by a particular film about a story of toys, we're actually creating these figures for an advertisement for a mobile game app called Toy Soldiers Army Men Strike. The idea is that these are going to be used for a commercial shoot for 1 or 2 days, and then they're not going to be needed anymore. Nevertheless, these need to look like the genuine toys themselves, with that moulded plastic feel. We've been sent some 3D rendered files via email that the client would like us to follow, and short of the model in our hand, this is a perfect way for us to begin the creation process. We're going to be making 3 figures in total, 1 advancing with a rifle, 1 in a widespread stance about to throw a grenade, and a sniper laying on his front flat on the floor. We've gridded the computer rendered models up from all sides in order to transfer this to our polystyrene blocks, and we start piecing each figure together using our polyurethane expanding foam. Polystyrene carving itself is only so complicated. We use hot wires, saws, regular sharp kitchen knives, nail brushes, wire brushes, stonemason rifflers, sandpapers, and okay, that list was longer than I expected, so sounds more complicated, but the main thing, like most things, is practice. The material can be taken away in large chunks to begin with, if you're a practiced hand and feeling confident, and then the progress slows down as you move to finer and finer tools. An advantage of polystyrene is that it's extremely lightweight, so for argument's sake, one person could lift one of these figures by themselves, and you also have the advantage of being able to add more material back on if you really mess something up, which is a heck of a lot more difficult to do using stone. With a tight deadline on this job, it's time to call in one of our regular freelance sculptors, and for anyone that knows our videos, it's now fun time, pun time with Chris. Oh, looks like you're the man for this job, Chris.
Yeah, soldering on.
Enough of the jokes, yeah? Don't want a war and peace. Let's face it, Chris, it doesn't look like him.
Well, I've been rifling through the reference.
Rifling through. Oh, speaking of rifles. With all the carving well on schedule, the eventual finish is gradually being worked up to a smoother end result. Once we're happy with the master carvings, we're going to be going over this with a water-based plaster filler, and this is just a filler that comes already pre-mixed in a large tub that you can buy from home construction stores. You apply it on nice and thin, and once it air dries, it can be sanded back to a smoother finish to help lose that polystyrene bead texture. At this point in time, before we proceed with any work that can't easily be changed, it's time to invite the client down to the studio. Our contact from Einstein's Octopus, Tony, has come down to talk through the build with Aidan, take a few photo shots to bring back to the office, and discuss the next part of the build. For new clients, this would be an ideal time to see the studio for the first time, get a feel for Aidan and the team and the sort of work we do, but for Tony, who's well versed by now in how we operate, it's a cup of tea, a chat, and confidence that we've created everything for him just right up to now. Various tweaks are discussed, such as details on the bags and accessories that might have changed design-wise, but overall, it's great that he's happy with what we've created so far. One of our main sources of work are successful jobs with clients that appreciated the work and effort that we put in to make these sculptures happen. This way they're more than willing to come back for future projects, and this is how it's always been with Tony both ways. It's always nice for us to have a client that knows exactly what they're after, but also knows what's required and what's possible and not possible in the given time frame. Right, we just had a nice little meeting with Mr. Pletz from Einstein's Octopus.
Yes, worked with Tony for many years, about 30 years on and off, on various projects. It's always a pleasure to work with him. He's just come down to approve these master patterns from polystyrene, and here we're just putting on the finishing touches, which is like the moulding lines that you always see in the plastic soldiers. It's nice and quick, and it just finishes the whole soldier off really, so the client's really happy with it so far, and all good, it's going well.
Once these Plastazote lines are put on, all the gaps are filled, and then we're going to go over with a two-part plastic mix that should form a nice smooth finishing layer, which we can add a pigment in. Two of these are going to be the kind of standard army green, and the one that's laying down, the sniper, is going to be a kind of khaki yellow-brown. For this project, we're using a material that you probably haven't seen us use before, but on this occasion is perfect for the job at hand. These figures are only going to be used for a day or two, so they don't require anything substantial in terms of strength like fiberglass, but they still need to be hardened so that parts like the arms and the rifles aren't just snapped off during transit. Fiberglass, as well as being massively overkill in terms of strength, application time and cost for the client, would also soften the detail considerably. Short of making a mould for this, which would cost more and take even longer, only a blanket coat or a very light tissue layer of fiberglass could be applied, which would still require cleaning up and surface treatment afterwards before it's painted. For this job, we're using a two-part plastic mix in multiple layers that sets in about 3 hours and can be sanded again if required. This is sort of like a really thick treacle mix, so applying by brush needs to be done so with care so that none of the plaster underneath is pulled up off of the job. But this is a much more cost-effective and a quicker process in contrast to glass fibre work, and it's perfect for these sort of short-term items. It also worked well in getting us closer to that moulded plastic feel in terms of the surface texture before the painting starts. We've been sent colour references for the green and the yellow, and these are being applied to the sculpture through an airgun as a single K paint. This will be more than durable enough for a 1 or 2 day event, and unlike a water-based paint, even if these figures happen to be outside and it starts raining, this will be a much more solid finish. After the colour layer has been applied, we go over with a semi-gloss lacquer just to seal the paint and to give it that semi-sheen plastic look. Very nice, Jess, thank you very much. Now everything's ready to pack up and move out. We're wrapping the sculptures for transport. We've been sent the commercial for the mobile game app, which we're including a couple of snippet clips of, but half the reward is being able to share this with you guys so you can see how everything's created too. We'd like to thank Tony from Einstein's Octopus once again for another great project, and we look forward to more jobs in the future. Please feel free to leave any comments below, as they're always appreciated, and hit the subscribe button for our latest videos. You can like Sculpture Studios on Facebook and follow @Aidan Hines on Twitter, and for more of our work visit sculpturestudios.co.uk. Thank you very much for watching.